No.
It's like so quiet. And I just
I see JC put orange juice in her vodka.
Yes.
All right. Well, have fun in the slumber party, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Well, I am so excited to be here. I mean, it's been, I can't even tell you how long since I've been at a slumber party, so this is going to be so fun. Okay, so everyone, I'm Shyla Watson. I am a books editor at BuzzFeed, and today we are here with Tessa Bailey, Andy J. Christopher, Sonali Dev, Melanie Johnson, and JC Lee, and we are going to have a blast talking about all things summer, slumber parties, and their upcoming books. So to start, I want to talk about slumber parties briefly. I went to boarding school, and so I lived with my best friends, but we always tried to make every night we had like a slumber party with like movies and gossip and of course tons of snacks. So I want to know, what is one of your favorite slumber party memories? We can go, I'm just going to go in alphabetical order. So Andy, we'll start with you.
So I was thinking about this today, and then I thought about, so it goes back to like the 5th grade. And so this is like a very sort of innocent slumber party memory, but it's also just like a harbinger of things to come. I was having a slumber party for, I think, my 11th birthday, and we were all at my apartment that I shared with my mom. And I think we were playing Nintendo and doing like the track thing, and we were running really fast on the track. And so we get a knock on the door, and it's a police officer.
Oh.
Because apparently the neighbors downstairs were like, it's really, really loud, and had called in with a noise complaint. And so she comes in, this police officer, and we're all just like sitting around the table eating cake and ice cream, like just like 11 or 12, just sort of innocent, like 10 or 11-year-old girls. And it turns out the police officer came from the same little tiny town in Minnesota where my mom's dad grew up. And so she was like, I'm gonna let you off with a warning.
Not gonna book you guys tonight.
not gonna take you in. But yeah, it was like a funny sort of charming story that you can only hear in like the Midwest in like a in that sort of like it was very, very sweet and very, very innocent. I did get the cops called on my 11th birthday party.
But Andy, that's a meet cute for a romance between the mom and the police officer.
Yeah,
right.
I would read that. Oh, okay, Jason.
Or like a cranky neighbor. A cranky neighbor is better.
That too.
Like, really grumpy and very big. Yeah.
And drunk. Yeah.
I'm drunk.
Just buzzed. Drunk is a little, not sexy.
Yes.
Well, JC, what about you? What's one of your favorite memories?
Do you want the alcoholic version or non-alcoholic?
That one. Always.
It's not a big deal. Again, my best friend and I, we've been best friends since we were 10. And we've been having slumber parties since then. And then we both went off to college, went to the University of Chicago, and I went to East Berkeley. And then summer vacation or whatever, we got back together. And one of our favorite things to do is watch old Hollywood musicals, right? So I think that night we borrowed Gigi. And for some reason, we decided that normal vodka will not do. We need to get the 100 proof kind.
Whoa, that exists.
We do not do anything less than 100 proof. So I remember going through much of the giant bottle, and Gigi was so much more fun with the vodka. It was like, that's hilarious. We had, and then she made me instant ramen with poached egg. She was super tipsy, but she's so fancy. She's like cutting Napa cabbage in there. And it's like, that's like gourmet drunk food. So
yeah, I usually just order a pizza or like McDonald's. That's fancy. Elite.
I know. She's like, "Do you want your egg poached?" And I'm like, "Yes, that will be acceptable." So, in
very
memory of that, I have a splash of orange juice in my vodka.
Love it. Love it. Okay, Melanie, what about you?
Oh my goodness. So I did love having slumber parties quite a bit when I was younger. So when the house I grew up in, the boy across the street, we kind of had this rivalry. It never turned into romance. It was definitely always enemies, never lovers. Anyway, his name was David, and we used to go back and forth with how we would prank each other. So, he would egg my house, and then we would we would turn around and do stuff. So it was during the holidays, and I had a sleepover with a bunch of friends, and we just got it into our head to go over there and do quite a few things to all of his family's holiday decorations. So Santa Claus ended up being tied to the fire hydrant. Just kind of just had some fun with all the holiday decorations. And then I just that one I remember very well, because I just remember the next morning waking up and seeing Santa Claus still on the street corner tied to the fire hydrant.
I love that. I love I'm wearing a Christmas. You can't really, it's a little sheep. So I love that one. Sonali, what about you?
So I don't think I had any. I mean, we had pretty staid, sleepovers, and I think the wildest thing we did is called someone's a guy she liked.
Oh yes.
All right. So,
Sorry.
But I will tell you that we have continued to have slumber parties as grown-ups, and this is probably the craziest story, and I'm probably going to go all over the place with this because for Tessa, I had to bring a drink. But okay, come on in, and then I'll tell you the story. Hi, Sarah.
We have some visitors.
Oh
Hi, Alexis. Anisha. There's my girl. Hi.
I'm in Nisha's office.
Hello, everyone.
Sorry to interrupt your story.
We've got some more romance authors.
Who
They should all come in and say hi.
Here's a dog. Oh my gosh. Wow, we are being blessed today.
Oh my god. Is that Sonali?
Yes. Hi, Anisha. I'm having FOMO.
Oh,
All right. All right. Bye. Sorry, that
Love
was
a
Nancy Drew
cameo.
the Chihuahua.
That's sweet. Nancy Drew. Okay, so we're all first generation immigrants, so lots of found family, and so we all had this, really young kids and couldn't do much except get together with each other. So we had gotten into this pattern. Every Thursday, we'd go to one of the homes. This is about 5 couples and kids, and start to party, which involved a lot of food and drink and all of that, and do this through the up until Sunday night. And and now the kids are all grown, and when one of the girls was little, I think kindergarten or something, and there was what did you do over the weekend stories that you had to tell in school the next day. And of course, when the teacher asks her, she says, well, my parents have these other couples over, and then they all sleep in the and her mom is like the most staid of us all. She meditates. She's very spiritual. She's not like, the rest of us, I get that the teacher would be like, oh my gosh. So the teacher calls her and says, Mrs. Shetty, I need to talk to you about something. And so she was like, this is the story we are told in class.
Oh,
I also feel like that's the beginning of a childhood friends to lovers romance novel.
These kids all think of each other as cousins, but I wouldn't mind a little, you know.
I mean, this is
A little something, something.
this conversation is ripe with inspiration.
Yes. So that's my slumber party story.
That's a good one. All right, Tessa, now you've got to bring it home.
I don't know if I can tell. I don't think I can follow Sonali's, but so when I was in high school, I played on the basketball team. Like I played varsity basketball for 4 years, and you know, we would have like bonding sleepovers, which was a terrible idea because you're putting 14-year-olds with 18-year-olds and throwing them into a sleepover situation. So of course, like they would have the freshmen do these terrible things. Like once I went streaking through the supermarket at 11 o'clock at night, you know, and then there was just rumors going around town for weeks that my mom was like, "Did you?" And I was like, "No." But then JC's story reminded me of her, you know, when she said that alcohol made Gigi so much better. My friend, this is like kind of more recent. My friend Jill and I, like I think we were at a book signing and we were sharing a hotel room and we were like just wasted face, like completely smashed. And we were watching this movie, How to Be Single with Dakota Johnson.
Yes.
Do you know this the movie?
It's a terrible movie.
Terrible movie. We thought that was a masterpiece. Like we were like, we were sobbing, crying. And then the next morning we woke up, we were like, that movie was terrible. What were we thinking? We were like pledging our devotion to this movie. And then the next morning, all the magic had gone.
That's how I feel about Playing It Cool with Chris Evans. That's how I feel about
Oh.
this. You gotta be,
I
you
remember
gotta be
you telling
drunk
me
for
about
that one.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one to just watch on mute and then just like look at him for 2 hours.
Yeah, he's smoking in it. It's very hot, but like terrible for you. But don't smoke children.
Yes.
It's very.
But doesn't this reminds me of so being on book tour with Tessa means you drink like the entire time that you're there, and it's the most fun you will ever have. But Tessa, what was the movie? And you like love talking about movies when you're in this situation. And I remember what was this film in which they time travel or it's a
Yeah. That's like one of my favorite movies, and I made you watch it
immediately.
Safety Not Guaranteed with Aubrey Plaza.
It was cute.
Yeah.
Good.
I was like, this is the greatest movie you'll ever see in your entire life. She watched it. She was like, it was pretty good. Hey, Tessa. And I was like, okay. Not the reaction I was going for.
It's amazing.
No, I just need to get some cocktails. I need to go through like the worst movies list on IMDb, and then there'll be the best movies. I've learned something here today.
And listen, you guys don't know the joy of a bad Bollywood movie. Like the whole
I don't.
So bad it's good was invented in Bollywood. So if you're not rolling because it's so banana pants, talk to and Andy, you have to talk to Nisha about this watch along we did about this movie called Amar Akbar Anthony last year, and I have never had so much fun in my life because
I mean, it sounds amazing. I love bananas. You know, I love bananas. I literally have a IG live about bananas romance. I love it.
Bananas.
So now you told me to watch Gully Boy, and I still I have it. Like I have it ready to go, and I don't know why I haven't pulled the trigger on it. But
pull it tonight. That's not bananas.
That's
if you
just
pull
really
out
good,
bananas, I'm coming for you.
Okay, I won't. Okay.
I'm definitely coming away from here with some movie recs. My goodness. Okay, so speaking of romances, I want everyone to give me like an elevator pitch of their novels. I've had the pleasure of reading all of yours and they're all fabulous, but for everyone who has yet to get their hands on a copy or they haven't come out yet, give us a quick elevator pitch of what your upcoming book is about. Andy, we'll get back to you.
Okay. So I have a copy with me. It's called Hot Under His Collar. It comes out on July 20th. And it's basically if you watched season 2 of Fleabag and really needed the happy ending, this is the book for you.
Hot Priest.
Hot Priest. And it's,
Say less. That's great. That's all I need.
What did you say, Father? What a waste? Is that what you call it?
Yeah, Father, What a Waste. Yes. Also, if you loved the nun from Dairy Girls and needed a sarcastic nun,
Sure,
you
Michael.
have that too.
I'm getting the actual sizes on the cover in the book because I would read that.
No, but I think it's going to be relevant to your interests because he also part-time tends bar at his dad's bar.
A priest bartender. Oh my god.
Priest pending bar. Yes.
You're coming for me.
So
Coming for you.
JC, what about you?
I forgot my copy. I was too busy getting my drink, but it's
Alexis,
Okay.
but it's orange.
Like,
It's
you-
orange. My cover is orange.
JC, go get it, and Melanie will fill in while you go get it. Then you go.
I will fill.
Yeah?
We can do that. Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna run.
Okay, what do you guys really think about her?
That's such a slumber party thing to pull.
Yes, it really is.
Like, so you can't go to the bathroom because you know, like they're all good.
Yes, as soon as you leave. Melanie, do you want to go while we're waiting for her?
I don't have my copy like with me either, but that's fine. So Too Good to Be Real is a super easy elevator pitch. It's just Austin land for rom-com lovers. So
Awesome.
Love it.
Sign me up.
Okay, say that all over again. I didn't want to miss anything.
So yes, Austin land for rom-com lovers. You get to go to a resort and experience the rom-com fantasy, that you've always wished you could have.
Yes.
Love
I
it.
really do wish it was a real place. I read it and I was like, oh, transport me.
Oh,
I feel like we all need to be there after this whole pandemic and lockdown. We just need to go.
It was my mental escape. You want like banana pants, like yes. Whatever I felt like throwing in there, it went in there.
I love the banana theme going on tonight.
Yeah, like
This is debating there.
yes. Okay, what's it about?
And it's about two commitment phobes who play a game of truth or dare. And it leads to a no strings attached 4-date arrangement. And only condition is that they couldn't fall in love with each other.
We know how that goes.
But, yeah.
And they don't, right?
Oh, and she's a brewer. So I did a lot of research on craft breweries and beers and such. So anyway, so it's about they both have painful pasts. They have to overcome it to be with each other and to become the best versions of themselves before they feel like they're worthy of each other. Well, when they put it that way, it sounds more serious. But it's cheesy, unapologetically corny.
I think-
Love it.
All the fun. I just like giggled as I was writing it. Oh my god!
I think you could use unapologetically corny as like a tagline.
Yes.
I have that pinned on my tweet.
Love that.
Oh, Sonali, what about you?
So the clean and easy version is that it is The West Wing meets Jane Austen. And the more fun version is it's me trying to write Edward Ferris with balls.
I like that one. Okay, Tessa, you're up.
So it happened one summer. It is kind of my, if anybody watched Schitt's Creek, it's my love letter to Alexis Rose.
So hot.
Yes, it really is.
She's one of my favorite characters. One of my favorite characters of late on television, and she got a happily ever after on the show. I don't want to ruin it for anybody, but it wasn't necessarily romantic, and I kind of wanted to explore what that would be like if she got her happily ever after. So I got to send LA socialite to a small fishing village in the Pacific Northwest, and she falls for a surly king crab fisherman. So
Surly.
Yeah.
Surly equals sexy.
I
Mhm.
love a book that has an LA
So
girl.
So grumpy, so sad. I love it.
yes.
Okay.
I like them quiet.
Mhm.
Yeah, shut up and do other stuff.
And Phil.
Filthy.
Okay, so these are pandemic books. So I mean, I know we're not quite with the pandemic like behind us, but I mean, these books were written during, peak pandemic time. So I'm so curious what that was like for each of you, in terms of coming up with ideas and being creative and your writing process and how that was affected and if you did anything to cope or de-stress. So I know that was a mouthful, but just tell us a little bit about what it was like writing these books. Andy, back to you.
I think it was like utterly and completely escapist writing it because the heroine's an event planner. And so like I didn't want, I wrote it in sort of an alternate universe where the pandemic never happened. And I literally was writing it in April, like March and April of 2020. And so I just felt like it was so freeing to be able to just be like, to be able to pretend that this wasn't happening. It also gave me a lot less things to do that weren't writing. So it wasn't quite on time, but it was really close to on time. But it was just, and I was like just kind of by myself. So I kind of, was like, all right, so I'm gonna escape to this world where there's a sexy priest who's like tortured about his life. So I think it's hornier than the other Nolan books for that specific reason. But yeah, it was like such an utter escape. And to like sort of wind down, like I had like a weekly Zoom with like my sort of urban family. So my mom, her gay best friend, and some of our other friends and so that was like a good distressing, and we would have a happy hour every Friday. And that was really the best sort of medicine. Plus I had a puppy. So that took up a lot of attention. So.
Yes. Wow. I mean, I didn't do anything. I mean, it was like, I felt like a hero every time I like did laundry. So I'm very impressed.
Right.
JC, what about you?
Oh my gosh, my life. So I have two school-aged boys. So when the lockdown hit, I had a 9-year-old and a 12-year-old in the house. So 24/7 with them all the time.
Oof.
My office is our living room, basically. So whenever anyone just walks out to grab water, like it's just I have not been alone, guys. So like not alone ever. But so writing, I had to become very efficient. I had to find snatches of time, and write very quickly. And sometimes my mood was just like, I'm just angry and anxious, and I'm just telling the characters, be happy, damn it, or I'm actually just having fun, and it's, I'm laughing and it's kind of maniacal. I don't know what my boys were thinking. Like, what's wrong with mommy? But and during the times that I wasn't writing, cooking, cleaning, doing the dishes. So like that 5 minutes out of a day, I picked up loom knitting. So I knit everyone a scarf, a hat, like everyone on Christmas, birthdays last year, everyone got something that I knitted for them. So that's how, I don't know, I couldn't sit still. Sitting still freaked me out. Like I would stare at the wall for like 2 seconds and I couldn't do it. So I use my hands, knitting or typing and just everything else to get me through. And I was barely on time with my book. Then had a freak out and had major revisions, but I turned it in on time.
See, I love that because if given the choice, I would probably choose to stare at the wall. I try to be productive when stuff is going on, but it can be hard. So again, very impressed. Melanie, what about you?
Like JC, I have two kids. I have 2 girls, and so everyone was home 24/7, and it became like, and my office is kind of my living room too. It was bananas. It was very difficult. I ended up with stress-induced shingles, which I did not know was
Oh my
a
gosh.
Wow.
It is a thing.
That's scary.
It is a thing. And so
Painful thing.
early on in the pandemic in late March, where I ended up going to the ER because we didn't know what was wrong with me at first. We thought it was my kidneys. We didn't know what it was. Turns out stress-induced shingles. So that was fun. So I, unlike JC, did not turn my book in on time. It was a little late. But like Andy was saying, it became my escape. And that was one of the things early on. I don't know if anyone else had this conversation with their editors, but there was this big question at first, like, do we address it? Like, do we talk about this? Because we didn't know. Like when they first talked about vaccines, it was like in the 4 years, or there was this like, the fact that we have them as fast as we did was unthinkable then. So like, we didn't know how long we were going to be in this, and we're still in it, but not like, but not the way that we thought we would be. So there was like that big question about, do we address this in the book? And like Andy said, I made the choice to make this kind of, it's a fiction. So this is an alternative universe that doesn't exist. We're having fun. And so, I call it my pandemic escape hatch, like to just dive in and, and play in this world and just have a good time with it. And then I bought an exercise bike, and that helped. I know sometimes it's like, just for the mental relief. So that I bought that, and that's in my basement. It's currently collecting spider webs while I'm on deadline again. But I will get back on it because that definitely did help. And like JC, I think there was quite a bit of angry yelling and maniacal laughing. Children just avoided the space that mom was in.
No, an exercise bike is a good quarantine purchase. That's better than mine, which was an espresso machine. So I was just bouncing off the walls.
I'm looking for an espresso machine, so I'll contact you offline.
Yes. I'm obsessed with mine. I have a latte every day, which probably isn't good for me, but
it's calcium. It's calcium. It's fine.
Right. It's fine. So Nolly, what about you?
So I think for me, it was a very two-part thing. So the first half of the pandemic, I think of it as the time when we knew nothing, right? There was this whole like April, May, like that beginning 3 months when it was apocalyptic in a way that I don't think like our paradigm then shifted. So we can't, the memory is now gone, like a really childbirth, but I was completely paralyzed for those first few months. And we had just become empty nesters. So it was supposed to be my time when, to grieve that and to really get into my writing and start writing more books and, doing all the things. My husband has always traveled. 25 years of being married, he has been gone on an average 4 to 5 days a week. So, it's a miracle we didn't kill each other, and we kind of actually figured, oh my gosh, we actually like each other. We've wasted a lot of time, but we also did try to kill each other. But so it was this whole kind of expectation that a certain life was now going to be a certain thing, and then suddenly the kids were back home. The husband was in the house 24/7. Our families in India were completely cut off from us. We had no idea what was going on there. It was like the level of internalized fear that I could not, I didn't even know I was experiencing, was to a level I only knew it was there because I could do nothing. I was like, I know this story. I'm supposed to be writing it. I cannot. And sometimes I'm like, sit there and write and, to, be, like something. And I just couldn't even do that. And so complete paralysis the first few months. And of course, 2020 was not just a pandemic. 2020 was also election year.
Yes.
We have just forgotten. And I was writing, so Yash is running for California governor. So I'm writing a book about a politician who is questioning truth in politics. And so, there was a lot of fun stuff going on. And I was like, how do I do this? But I think once I crossed over, once we started talking about vaccines, people started wearing masks, like there was a sense of, something is going, maybe we know what's going to happen. Maybe the world will still be here at the end of 2020. And
light at the end of the tunnel. You see the light.
As soon as I saw that, I made a switch, because I went from I cannot do this to this is the only thing I can do. This is what I know how to do. This is the thing I can do. And man, I'm going to do it. And I wanted to write like 10 books. After that, I was just like, bring me everything. I'm going to change the world. Like I was madly fake energized, like this bunny. And then of course, post-November, it was, gleeful, where I was like, I will now be slaying dragons. But so it was very up and down for me. But one thing did change. I realized that comedy, laughter, comic books, like, movies that made you laugh, like this complete, the asinine side of life, completely asinine side of life was what kept me through this. Ridiculous conversations with friends, like anything that made me roll with laughter, it was what kept me sane. And so, there are parts in this book through seriousness that just kind of are absurd, like to me, I find them very funny, but the one that I wrote after this is it's completely like, it's the first, I think, out and out funny book I've written. It's also, they do it like bunnies, which for an Austen book is going to be fun. From my it's Emma, and I can just see my editor come back and say, Sonali, this kind of does not fit the sexual rules of the rest of your books in this series. We'll deal with that, because they're literally bunnies, man. But I think I kind of want to realize that I would rather make people laugh. Like, yes, sure, I want to make them cry, but the importance of absurdity, like something about that just, I think, changed my writing too.
I love that. That's just so, I feel like we really did need laughter last year. It was hard to find it. I definitely got it through your books and, through movies and, shows like Schitt's Creek. But it was hard to find sometimes. So it's amazing that you did, and you made something out of it. I mean, anytime people can be creative during a hard time, I'm just like, wow. So Tessa, what about you?
I also have a 9-year-old, and so she was doing remote learning she's been in remote learning up until this last couple weeks. And it's not like, okay, bye, like I'll see you at the end of the day. It's like, Zoom kicks her out, or it's screen break, or it's make me lunch, or I need a snack, or it's just like constant interruptions, which doesn't work when you're trying to just like stay in this, steady stream of consciousness writing. So I started waking up at 4 a.m. Like, that was my only option, was to start getting up at 4, working to 8, and then the rest of the day was like being a mom. And which is, it's crazy, because now I'm becoming one of these people that everyone hates, that's like, you got to get up early. Because it really, honestly, I could sit at my desk and write from 9 to 5 and write the half the amount of words I will write between 4 and 7 in the morning. It's like, I don't understand what the formula is, or what it means, but between 4 and 7, I can get it all done. And then I can just have the rest of the day. So I don't know if that's going to continue forever, indefinitely. That's how I've coped. And the thing that got me out of bed was coffee. It was like coffee and quiet time, because there was no quiet time. There's the rest of the day, the house is buzzing. Someone's asking me for something. The TV's on. Like social media is constantly updating. There's news coming out. So 4 to 7 in the morning has become kind of like, I don't know if you read Kate Claiborne's most recent book, but she talks about how it's the golden hour. And I was like, that's me, that's my golden hour. But like self-care, I started like getting really obsessed with body washes, because again, just the shower was like my only kind of like space where I was just like by myself. So I just started being like, oh, like cherry blossom, like, will that transport me somewhere else? And so like, I have now just like this giant collection of body washes, and like, I'd go up and I'd be like, what'll I choose today? And that was my like only pleasure during this whole thing. But yeah, and also getting drunk. Next.
Yes.
Oh, day drinking.
Yes.
Day drinking is a revelation.
I have been waiting for someone to ask me what this is.
Oh, I've been thinking that. It's so pretty.
So I hate white wine and rosé. I'm a red wine girl. And I've realized if you have watermelon in the house, you can blend some with white wine and make it completely drinkable. And with rosé, you can make it really drinkable. And I have these honey ginger crystals that I blend with it. And it is the best ginger sangria ever. Sorry.
Oh my gosh, you're a mixologist.
Yeah, you're a mixologist.
Yeah.
Yes, I need that recipe. My gosh, that sounds so
Sonali,
perfect right now.
The next time I have like a rooftop party, that's what's happening. Like,
Oh my gosh, I want to be at your rooftop party. I'll just fly
Wow.
up there.
Well, speaking
July
of
4th was
rooftop
the
parties-
first one. Yeah. July 4th was like the first time I was like, oh, I can't get drunk anymore. Like,
No. Well, speaking of rooftop parties, I wanted to do a little summer edition of Would You Rather. So feel free to just, we can keep it casual, shout out your answers. So first, pool or beach?
Beach.
beach.
Beach?
Wow, no, cool.
I like pool because you could order cocktails. Sorry, there's like a theme in my head right
You
now.
can order cocktails.
There are
at the
beaches where you
beach.
can order cocktails.
Yeah.
Okay, I haven't been to those fancy ones.
You can take at the unfancy ones, you can take them yourself.
Hmm.
Well, sometimes you have to sleep with like not attractive rich men to like go to these beach houses. So
I mean, but worth it? I mean,
it depends.
oh, see,
You
I'm
just
a pool
find
person.
marriage, no?
I'll just tell my husband to get a second job. You know?
Take you to one of those beaches with the cocktail. No, I love it. I'm not really into sand. So I think I would be a pool person. But respect, obviously I live in LA. The beach is right there.
Yeah.
Okay, so ice cream or s'mores?
Ice cream.
Ice cream.
Yeah, that's
Wow, are we all best friends? Like, we just
that's really the only acceptable answer. So I'm glad I don't have to like kick
No,
any of you out of the call.
I'm not a fan of ice cream. Maybe s'mores flavored ice cream or like anything with marshmallows in it. I'm a little like I have to get gluten-free graham crackers, but other than that, s'mores, I think.
What about like Rocky Road ice cream? Because that has marshmallows.
So I only ate Rocky Road ice cream when I was pregnant. Like that was a thing. My daughter loves it. It's a weird thing. And now I'm allergic to nuts. But I will eat
Oh
around.
no.
I eat around and then I use my inhaler and I spit out the nuts. So
Priorities.
a lot of trouble to go
chaos.
to.
But, yeah.
Well, I feel like I already know Sonali's answer to this next one, but fruity cocktail or trendy beer?
Fruity cocktail.
Cocktail.
Beer.
Yeah.
You cannot pay me to drink beer. I mean, you cannot pay me to drink beer. I just throw up. Like I think it's an allergy-based thing, but absolutely cocktail. Absolutely.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I'm not a beer drinker, but I feel like I would love experiencing through JC's novel because I don't know anything about beer. So, yes. Okay, let's see. One piece or two piece?
One
Two piece.
Two-piece.
Oh, very interesting.
Well, like it's hard to go to the bathroom in a one piece.
Yes.
That's
So,
true.
I
I
can't
hate like
go
naked
to
in
the
a stall.
You can pull aside. You can pull aside. Like, come on.
I'm usually drinking, so I'm not that coordinated. And I'm like, I don't want to pee on my hands.
By the time, yeah, by the
wash
third
your
drink-
Like a Spanx thing, yeah.
by the third drink, pulling it to side just gets it dribbling. It's like all the way down.
Yeah.
I like because like the two pieces now because like I am so like different on the top and the bottom, like it's not even in the same universe.
I bought the 3 swimsuits to this weekend. They're all 2 pieces.
I have two-piece trauma, so I have had enough to drink that I'm
Wait, that's a romance. That's
Yeah, I was gonna say that's a title.
That's the title, yeah.
It's
Or a
really
band.
not- it's not even a fun story. It's just one of those body issues growing up in India. There was such a thing called a bikini body. I think it was everywhere, but it was such a big deal. Like even actresses, they had to train to get in a bikini. Like that's how big of a deal they made. And I have gotten rid of almost all my body issues, which were a lot. And Still cannot get into a two-piece. Makes me sick to my stomach. I went on vacation last year and forgot my and I think that was one of those things where I forgot my swimsuit, and so I had to order it on Amazon. And so I ordered a two-piece, but I ordered one with that flap in the front. And so it's like, so I can wear the ones with the cutouts, I can do all that. I just cannot wear a full-on like bikini, and I should be able to. So someday. So there's this whole, like, you can see my voice getting weird.
I'll Denali. Like we can do it.
Yes, it's never
We'll have a bikini writers retreat.
And everything goes wrong. Like we were in Brazil, my daughter, she said, Mom, you're here, no one knows you, everyone wears them here, you can do it. And she had one of hers, I was going to wear it, and then our plans changed. So there's some universe thing going on until I'm ready.
Well, it reminds me, Melanie, you have a great scene with a two-piece in your book that everyone can look forward to.
She doesn't bring a suit like Sonali. She's like, oops, forgot it. Like, because she had no intention of getting in the water or anything. But her friend's like, I brought two. So she borrows her friends. It doesn't fit very well. And she gets in the water, and suddenly she's like, it's a little cold. Like, so the top has gone missing, and the kleptomaniac seagull, of course, makes off with it. And so, yes, it becomes an erotic.
It's bananas.
I want to do.
The hero does come to the rescue. The very unathletic hero who runs more in his life in this book than he's ever.
That was something that I found very relatable, especially post-pandemic, reading about how they just struggled with like basic movement. I was like, yes, I do get out of breath going up my stairs. That's real.
Yeah, he was pretty much the anti-hero in that sense. He's not at all athletic.
I love it. That's my type of hero.
I love that. That's my favorite part of the book, is that he has a white skinny chest.
Okay, well, I want to save time for fan questions, so I'm going to ask one final one, and it's just, what is everyone's favorite summer movie?
I'm going to go Dazed and Confused because it is a summer movie. It's a last day of school movie. And it is the birth of the McConaughey. It has like Parker Posey. I don't know. I can't count how many times I've seen this movie. It is just like, it basically describes my entire summer aesthetic. Like, I want to be in a field, drinking, fooling around with dumb boys. That is what I want for summer, even though I am a full-on adult. Like, that movie is like everything to me.
I've never
like,
seen that one.
It's a summer movie. It's a high school movie, but it's like most of all, it's like a first day of summer movie because it feels like it has all of that hope.
I'm gonna have to add that one to my list along with the Bollywood movies because I haven't seen any of these.
Dazed and Confused, so good.
Added, check. JC, what about you?
I can't pick one, but anything where there's a lot of things blowing up. I think of summer, I think of blockbusters and just buildings blowing up, people jumping off helicopters, and maybe Mission Impossible, Marvel Universe movie, whatever.
Yes.
A lot of action and blowing up. Yeah, the Hollywood blockbuster thing. I buy into that during the summer for some reason.
I believe it. I mean, all those Fast and Furious movies are popular for a reason. So, Melanie, what about you?
So I don't know if I have a favorite, but I did just finish watching Booksmart, and that was really fun.
Yes.
And it is a last day of like high school kind of movie, and it's two girls who have like it was just really well done, and it's like the characterization, and it's like two girls who are like super smart best friends who kind of like had like eye on the prize, never had fun, and like that last day of school, the main character, she finds out that like all these other people that she thought were like losers who were having just a good time and screwing around, they're all actually going off and doing great things as well. And she's like, she feels like the universe has cheated her. So she's like going to try and make up for 4 years of being good with one night of being bad.
Yes.
But it's much more than that. There's a lot of really cute things about friendships and the challenges you face. You know, my daughter's going off to college in the fall, so of course I was sobbing by the end of it. But it was really, really cute. Booksmart's on Hulu. I recommend it.
Yes, it was very good. I loved their friendship. Sonali, what about you?
I have had too much rosé with watermelon to remember. You're saying
That's the goal. That's the goal. That's what we want.
And all I can think of, and I know there's a million summer movies, like I'm supposed to be a movie buff, and all I can think of is Tom Cruise in Cocktail before he turned into Tom Cruise today.
It's a good summer movie. It's a good summer movie.
He was, yeah, that was my childhood. Like I wanted to be with Tom Cruise in Cocktail.
Yeah, I mean, he was so cute back then. I mean, still cute depending on who you ask.
Yeah.
But the cutest back
He
then.
pulled up, like when you go back and watch like Risky Business or like the old Top Gun or even Jerry Maguire, like you're like, dang, like I get it. Like I get why he was like the heartthrob.
I had a wall full of Tom Cruise posters in my
Yeah.
house, so, and I'm not even embarrassed about it. I didn't jump on a couch and I didn't turn weird.
I've never seen Risky Business. The only Tom Cruise movie I think I've seen is like War of the Worlds, which is like probably the worst of his movies.
And now that's the now Tom Cruise, right?
Yes, exactly.
Oh, Top Gun, girl.
Like really intense, and he does his own stunts. Like that Tom Cruise.
Yes.
Yeah, I know.
Mine is Jaws. Like, and this has
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Jaws was the first summer blockbuster. It was the very first one. And we watch horror films in this house. Like that's what we do. Like my 9-year, I'm gonna come off as a really bad parent here, but like we've exhausted all avenues of horror films with my 9-year-old. She's so into them. And so we finally were like, fine, you want to watch The Shining? Like, let's go. Let's watch The Shining. So that's where we're at. And it didn't even scare her. So
My mom made me watch The Shining when I was like 9 too, because she was like, I told her, I was like, I don't think movies back when you were a kid were scary. And she was like, no, they were. Here, let's watch The Shining. And I was fucking terrified.
my father put on The Exorcist and then fell asleep on the couch. And like,
Oh no.
Since Exorcist, I couldn't watch a horror film ever.
Since Omen, I don't.
I can't.
It's my favorite. My daughter's favorite genre. She's watched every horror movie ever made.
There's a terrible one called Cameron's Closet that my aunts let me watch. And there's like decapitations, and for like months I wouldn't go into my closet because I was like, I'm gonna get decapitated, so I really can't. This is why I write romance.
you guys have to watch this horror film called The Boy. Okay, it is
That
about.
name, no.
It's about a girl. It's Maggie from The Walking Dead, and she's like on the run from an abusive relationship, and so she goes to like the UK, and she gets hired by this family to watch their child. So they bring her in to meet him, and it's a doll, and they are all acting like it's.
Oh my gosh!
No.
Not do
I was scared. Okay, but yeah. Anyways, it's Jaws. I went to Martha's Vineyard. We went to Martha's Vineyard for just to do the Jaws tour because they take, like that's where they filmed a bunch of the scenes in Jaws. So they were like, that's the bridge where they like, where the sheriff jumped off to save his kid, and that's where they hung the shark that they thought was Jaws but wasn't. And my daughter was just like so excited.
I love that she knows who like Roy Schneider is. Like that's like,
It really does. She's like, oh yeah. She's like, Richard Dreyfuss, what a charmer.
I don't know what it is about summer, but I feel like summer and Halloween are the times to watch horror movies. Like you're not going to watch one in like February, but it's like during summer and then during October. That's like horror movie time. But you won't find me watching them. So other people. Yes. Well, I did want to mention quickly that we do have a pre-order special for JC's book, where any pre-orders will get a special sticker, and a signed book plate. So very exciting. Make sure that you pre-order that. And we also have our BBB Sultry Summer boxes, one which Melanie curated. So make sure you check that out as well. I do see we have a fan question. Let's see. For Tessa, how would Brandon hand out Halloween candy?
So Brendan is the hero, and it happened one summer, and he's the king crab fisherman, and he would not hand out the candy. He would stand like a little off to the side behind Piper and make sure like everything was working out okay, and like nobody was, taking too much candy or making her feel bad.
Yes, no, I love that. I feel like he would in that scene when they're in the grocery store at the beginning, I feel like he would be really judgy of her candy choices and like secretly put his favorite in the basket but then not say anything. But yeah, he
just keeps switching. He just switches out without saying anything.
Right, exactly.
Gotta go.
I don't think they would get any. They would not get any crappy candy in that house, though. It would all be like the quality candy. No one would be like, "Oh God, they gave me like the things that don't even taste like anything." It would all be
patties.
The full size candy bar.
Yeah.
Yes, those are the best houses.
Full size candy bar.
Yes, it's like these people have a Costco membership.
No carrots, no little baby carrots and baggies.
No raisins.
Oh no, those are mean people.
Yes,
like this is Halloween.
I love that question, by the way. That was such a good question.
Yes, that's very specific. I love that. People want to know what everyone is watching on TV.
Can I go first? We just got done watching this show called Sex Life. Has anyone watched it?
I thought it, but I have not watched
Bring
it
this
yet.
up.
Oh my gosh. Okay. A, they're having sex all the time. B, it's really good sex. They're both incredibly hot. Anyway, it's basically this woman who has the perfect Connecticut life, who suddenly starts missing all the sex she had with her ex 8 years ago. So through this entire thing, you're going like, do I like this? Do I not like it? It's like strangely deep. Like there's something going on under the surface, but they're having sex again. And my husband literally was like, didn't he just give it a hand job? I was like, yes, he did. Now he's doing it again. And it's bizarre, but it's weirdly also good.
Let me tell you, I signed up for Tinder and planned a trip to Australia. Watching this show.
Yes, because Brad. Were we talking about the size of the priest and the? Okay.
I was just thinking of episode 3. Like,
yes, I was like, the size of what?
That's all I've seen. I fast forwarded it right to that, and then I was like, okay, I'll go back to the beginning now.
And is it prosthetic? Do you think? I think it's. You think
no, I think
it's real.
I paused it. I didn't see any kind of like.
I feel like there was a little like I think that there was.
Show us that shape again.
The actress is now dating that guy.
The actress is now
She
dating
is.
that guy.
They were dating
they're
while
together.
they were dating. I mean, how they were apparently that chemistry is real.
Lucky her.
Everyone here.
I just want to. Can they film that? Can we see that part? Can they do like a behind the scenes?
Yes.
Yeah, but I'm going to Australia in 2023 and I'm on Tinder. I'm just saying, and my filter is like Australian dudes.
Can you film?
Yes.
Named Brad, who live in New York City.
Exactly, and an open law.
Oh gosh.
Can
What
we
is
talk
everyone
about
else
the ending
watching?
after this is done?
What's everyone else watching?
Who else watching? Yeah. I'm watching. I just watched Ted Lasso season 1.
Oh,
and it
so
became my
good.
show.
Yeah,
It's like the first episode. I was like, this is ridiculous. Like, because so it's basically the premise is that it's an American football coach who's been hired to go to the UK to coach an English soccer team. So. It's completely ridiculous, like in the sense that he's so positive and like they're like, go home wanker, and he's like, all right, thank you for that suggestion, I'm moving on. And he's just like, he's so overwhelmingly positive that I was like, what is this, like, when is the other shoe gonna drop on this show? And it never does. That's just the character, and it's so wholesome
amazing.
the whole way
It's
through.
so
It
wholesome.
so good. And like that's like kind of like Schitt's Creek. It just is a feel-good show, and there's no I don't know, there's nothing about it making you feel bad. Like everybody in it has a redeeming quality.
Yeah. I need a romance hero like that who's just almost annoyingly, overwhelmingly positive. I don't even know what that would be.
Okay. All right.
Yes, add it to your to-do list.
I'm watching Loki. Who's watching Loki?
Oh,
I'm loving
Loki.
it. It's so good. And like Tom Hiddleston, like I don't like his black hair, but everything else about him as Loki is like utterly charming. And I love it. It's like brought back Owen Wilson for me. Like it's just.
Oh wait, did you see Loki doing an imitation? Sorry, Tom Hiddleston doing an impression of Owen Wilson?
Yes, I also saw him doing an impression of Scarlett Johansson, and I bought both of them.
Yeah. If you haven't seen
He's
it,
very skilled.
yeah, it's very funny.
What about you two?
I finally watched the second part of Lupin. I don't know if anyone saw that.
Oh, yes.
I saw
They
the
were
So
like,
good.
they played the first half like months ago, and then it like just stopped, and then they just released the second half recently, and it was so much fun. I was really invested in it. Great characters and lots of fun.
Yes, I love a good heist story. That one's A+, and I watch it with like subtitles, so I hear the French. I don't understand it. I have to read it.
Yes.
What about you, JC?
So I love all those. I watched Lupin. My dog's name is also Lupin, but
Cute.
and Loki and Bad Batch, which is a Star Wars Clone Wars spin-off cartoon thing.
I think it was actually, someone was telling me about that. I think it was Alexis that was actually telling me about Bad Batch.
Bad Batch? Yeah, it's good. I like it. It's fun. It gives you the Star Wars what do you kick you need?
Why would you
Hit you
say a
need.
Star Wars kick? I don't understand.
It's incomprehensible. Oh, but the latest thing I watched is this docu-series called Sophie, and there's like little letters below the name, and I think it's Murder on the West Cork. Oh, you saw that too?
Oh, I'm a true crime. Yeah, anything true crime.
Yes.
I
Instant.
Podcast.
I was getting so angry. I'm like, he did it. Oh my gosh, he did it. Why aren't they? Like I was just like yelling at the TV, telling my husband, yelling at him.
Really
Like he could do something about it, right? Go and put him in jail. But yeah, it was like really dark and stuff, but I like sometimes just getting worked up over things. I like righteous indignation. It's a good feeling.
Yes, I love it. Have you guys seen those TikToks of men making fun of their wives for liking true crime?
Yes.
It's like they think that she's like just listening to music, doing the dishes, and it's like her head was cut off and her arms were cut off. Acting like everything is normal.
Her legs were cut off.
Yeah.
Her arms were gouged out.
Mine is like the contrast between like when you're in your 20s going out and then now going out, you're like pouring wine and like watching like her true crime, and you're like, this is good, and like they're all hanging out, like that's their slumber party, and I feel like that's
those like clubbing days where you don't bring a jacket and you're just in heels and like warm on being out, and those days are over.
And now it's like, I need rosé. I need someone to get murdered on television.
Yep, I need popcorn and wine. I call it my Olivia Pope. Those are my two things. Okay, I want to end on one final question. This can be a quick one. I just want to know what romance novel are you each reading right now? I need some recs. Come on.
I am reading the new book coming out by Kristen Callahan, I believe next week, Overexposed. I think that's the title. I I can't remember, but it's Kristen Callahan's newest one in the VIP series, and it's the band member, and like it's a second chance round. It's like it's banana sexy, and I'm so excited.
Bananas is our theme this fall.
Banana sexy, and I'm looking it up right now because I need it. It's exposed by Kristen Callahan. So
Okay, good to know. Everyone write that down. What about you, JC?
It's technically not a romance. I'm sure there are romantic elements in it, but it's by my 2020 debut friend, Natalie Jenner, the Jane Austen Society.
Yeah, sign me up already.
And they talk about all things Jane Austen, and it just warms my heart. It's beautiful because Jane Austen.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
I
on that
know.
note, why don't we skip over to Sonali? What's one of yours?
So speaking of Jane Austen, I just started reading The Bennet Women, which is Eden Apaya Kubi. It's her debut, and it's so far really great. And so I've just started it, and then I had to stop because I was lucky enough to get Priscilla Oliveras' upcoming novel, which will not be out until next summer, which is a spin on Romeo and Juliet on West Side Story. And I am so in love with her Romeo. It's amazing. Like it's just great. So yeah, I kind of had to stop that because we're critique partners, and she has a deadline, and she's like, "Can you read this?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, yes."
Yes, I will read this. It'll be my pleasure. Melanie, what about you?
I'm just finishing up on audio Hang the Moon by Alexandria Belfleur,
Oh,
which is a lot of fun. And it's been so funny because I'm seeing so many parallels between, because the hero in that book is like using rom-coms to convince the heroine that true love exists. So it's lots of cute little just little parallels that I've found just with the rom-com stuff. And the other one that I've been having fun with is Men to Avoid in Art and Life.
Love it.
What is that?
It
Just
is
open it up and it's just like
hilarious.
all of
It is
them.
like it's
Except in romance.
when you have like a friend that you can just make those little snarky comments to under your breath at a party. This is like all of that. And it's just like these paintings of like women looking like they are tired of all of the fucking shit that they put up with.
A full
men.
mood.
Hilarious caption. So yes, it's Men to Avoid in Life, and I think she's coming out with the second one now. Just a good laugh.
Good. All right, Tessa, what about you?
I'm in between kind of. I think the most recent one I read was a lot like Adios by Alexis Daria.
so
and
good.
I absolutely loved it. It was so fire. It was a second chance. Well, it was kind of second chance romance. It was
And the best cover ever.
Oh
my gosh, you had me at all.
That's the
The
first
next
one.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. They're so horny. It is so.
So like they were best friends like growing up, and then like right before he leaves to like move to LA, they like share like a really hot kiss, and then he's like, by the way, I'm about to get on a plane and leave forever. So they've had this like unrequited passion for like 10 years, and then they meet up, and it's just like it just explodes. It's so good. Anyways, and then I also have the next one I'm going to read is an arc of Weather Girl by Rachel Lynn
Ooh,
Solomon.
I'm looking forward to that.
Yes.
Oh yeah,
They're
the
so
first-
cute.
Yeah, the first one, X Talk, was so great. So yeah.
I haven't read the X Talk, but I'm gonna read this one, and then I'm sure I'll want to go back and read the other. And then I picked up this one yesterday, which isn't even a romance, but it's just like verifies that I'm all into murder. The Searcher. It's just a moody Irish murder book. So that's what
I mean, it works. It works.
Yeah.
That's a good description. Moody Irish murder book. Like I can already get the vibe of that book.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the cover.
She's a former homicide detective for the Dublin police, in real life, an author. And she just has this, she lives in Ireland, and she has this way of differentiating, everybody has a different Irish accent. It's so authentic. I don't know how to, it's great.
Love that. I love that. Yeah, authentic for sure. Okay, well, I think we're at time, but I just wanted to say thank you, everyone. I hope that all of our viewers enjoyed our slumber party. I know I certainly did, and I need to get the recipe for that watermelon cocktail ASAP. That's exactly what I need in LA. It's so hot here right now. Everyone remember to grab a copy of It Happened One Summer, Hot Under His Collar, Incense and Sensibility, Too Good to Be Real, and The Dating Dare. And thank you for joining.
Thank you.
I don't want to say goodbye.